week. And it was done.
If it comes down to essentially political leadership deciding to, on a bipartisan basis, do the right thing for the people. If a presidential candidate from PDP or APC comes out and says, look, I am running on the basis of restructuring Nigeria, can one man from one party promise that and really execute it, given the fact that you have the kind of situation that we have in the country today?
Well, as a politician, let me tell you this. You must also you have to gauge the feelings of the people. Is it going to resonate with the people right now? And if it's going to do, what percentage of the people? Because as I said, there are people opposed to restructuring because they are gaining from the things as the way it is. They don't even understand what restructuring is all about. They believe they're going to lose all they have, all they're controlling. But that's not true. So if you are saying going to run on the basis of restructuring, fair enough. You're being patriotic, you're being visionary. But is that going to earn you votes? It's something you have to consider.
Thank you. Now, that was Nigeria's Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu. He raised a number of issues which, are kind of critical. But I want to start trying to engage with our audience. He raised a particular issue, and I think we can start there. He talked about the fact that there seems to be some resistance from northerners, northern lawmakers, and he wasn't really sure, although he said they're coming round. I'd like, maybe someone from the north to talk to us about what is the northern position, at least among the common people, around restructuring. What are the conversations that are taking place?
My name is Alwan Hassan. On restructuring, I've picked what he said and what the panelists are talking about. I actually agree. The first thing we should do on this restructuring is for us to have a consensus of what it means. What does it mean? A lot of people will tell you restructuring means a lot of things. One is, I've had someone on the panelists saying we should reduce the size of our costs, like reducing the National Assembly, our representatives, like cutting costs in ministries. Those that are, especially the civil servants, the chairman of the think tank said it. I agree with that. But agreeing with going back to a regional government is going to be very difficult to me. One is I've been born into a united Nigeria, and breaking it into a regional government is to me like breaking Nigeria. We are going forward.
That what I'm trying to, so that's your view, but,
yes.
But what is the view of the generality of your friends and people
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is the view of the generality of my age mates that are being born into a united Nigeria. A lot of these people that will talk about regional government are people that had ID cards of regions. And in fact, to us, they are the problems we have in this country.
Right.
You understand? So talking about regional government is actually something we don't even want to discuss.
But let me ask this question. Who will benefit from restructuring?
Everybody will benefit from restructuring because some things are just better managed in small units. Even to look, we're in this room now. We are hearing ourselves. Supposing we are in a stadium, can we hear ourselves in the stadium? We cannot. So when we have groups of Nigerians, Abuja all the time. Even when you are the one causing problem in Ibadan, you say it's Abuja. From Ekotekpene, you say it's Abuja. And the common people don't even know where Abuja is. So we are deceiving them, but we are using them, and we are creating inefficiency and wastage. In any case, we are at this junction now. Something just has to give. And we have to face reality of change.
Okay. Let me talk to, if you like, the people who are at the front line. Another thing that the Deputy Senate President talked about was pressure from constituencies or, well, from interested parties about what to do and what not to do. What is your experience regarding what your people tell you regarding restructuring?
Okay, now, that is a very important question you have just asked. Majority of my constituents want...
And it's important for us to say who your constituents are, because I think the viewers need to know you represent Benue State,
Okay,
right?
yes, I represent Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency in Benue State, where there have been an incessant amount of killings of innocent people, including the 2 Catholic priests. That is an unfortunate occurrence, of course. Now, there's a strong clamor amongst our constituents for self-actualization, for prosperity, and for development.
That sounds like the sort of thing that virtually every Nigerian can relate to.
I'm coming into specifics. I'm going to come into the specifics now. Now, the specifics of that mean we want to be able to control the resources within our area. We want to be able to determine what we want to do with those resources. And that is why this 8th Assembly, actually in the National Assembly, had a challenge with the devolution of powers, because a lot of our colleagues did not understand.
So when you talk about resources, I'm assuming you're talking farmland, because predominantly in Benue, you're farmers.
No. Benue, apart from being the food basket of the nation, we're richly endowed with solid
minerals. Bear
you see a change for mining moving from the exclusive list into...
So I was coming to that, Kadri. I don't
sorry.
I know
I'm
you're
looking at my...
Sorry. So yes, of course, in that regard, we're talking about the issues of the exclusive list, which right now is skewed in favor of the center, where you have 64 items, or rather 68, rather. It's 24.
And I think for the benefits of viewers who may not understand this language, let us explain what that means. It essentially means there are areas where the federal government has total monopoly and to legislate and do everything, and the states can't do anything about.
That's the majority, which is 68, which includes critical issues like railway, like solid minerals.
Power.
You know, like power.
Even marriage.
And
waterways.
Even marriage license.
Marriage license is federal too.
Yes, even that as well.
Marriage license is federal.
So now, you see, now let me quickly say this.
Because you are here also as a member of a party, I have to ask you this quickly. Within the new proposals that have been put together by the committee that was headed by Governor El-Rufai, are your aspirations for your constituencies adequately captured?
Yes, reasonably, because they also agreed with the issue of the devolution of powers. They agreed with the issue of state police in a situation where you constitutionally enact a law and the institutions of government at the center who refuse to implement
it. So if President Buhari were to pass this today, you would be happy?
Well, yes, most of those recommendations.
Let me bring Tokwe in. Another important issue raised by the Deputy Senate President, and which basically based on a question that my colleague asked, was this issue of band-aid versus surgery, where people believe you make constitutional amendments. I know the Constitution doesn't allow for the Constitution to be changed, but he seems to be suggesting that if we had the will, we could actually do it. What are your thoughts about amendments versus getting a brand new constitution?
Thank you very much. Most Nigerians want a brand new constitution, and many times the reaction to the suffering and the times and the fact that many people is like there's this huge load on you just want it rolled away. However, I mean, it needs to be clearly said. I always tell people, if we're talking about breaking Nigeria, and if someone brought a proposition and say, look, can we split into our different ways?
No.
Under 1 minute, we'll take that decision and say, look, let's go our different ways. I've even seen people exasperated, even from the north, and say, look, in fact, we're tired of all of these insults. Let us go our different ways, which comes to the issue of regionalization. I tend to agree with somehow the northern, the guy from the north, talking about how easy it's going to be to split this country into 6 right now. The other day, some men, they had a meeting and they said, look, let's break into southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast, south, and middle belt. Now that middle belt is going to extend from Kwara into Kogi, into Plateau, into Benue, down to Taraba. I said, listen, you imagine 200 tribes and 200 languages there. And if you don't settle them, you're going to have a problem. That's Honorable Bilal here talking about is people in maybe Agatu area or, in Benue State. You need to know the issues in Benue State alone. All right, between the thieves, the Agatus, the Idomas, and so on. The issue